How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. Golly, it's Friday here on the show, and we got a lot to get into. I got a lot I got to do during this next break. It's Observer Live. Everything goes wrong right before the show starts, so I'm dealing with that. But it's going to be Fun Friday one way or the other. I will force Fun Friday if I have to. So yes, this weekend is a big weekend. We got 2 nights of SummerSlam, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to go over everything scheduled for those 2 shows. Last night was Collision because there's no Saturday Collision because they're not going to run head-to-head with the SummerSlam show. So we'll give you the full results of Collision. Good show. I would not say it was as good as the Dynamite show on Wednesday. Well, the Dynamite show on Wednesday was pretty great. But this was pretty darn good, and there are a lot of little changes that have been made over the last week that I think have been of huge benefit to AEW. So we'll talk about those. And then we got a whole bunch of other news as well. We've got Triple H, part of the, what the heck is this? The President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. Is he now Jack LaLanne? We'll tell you about that. Dynamite ratings. We got an update on WWE Speed, which sadly appears to be no more. Jelly Roll got hurt, but I think he's still going to be in the match tomorrow. But he got hurt training. You got to be careful with that whole training thing. We got the SmackDown lineup for tonight, and if we have time, we'll do a Q&A with Lance. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4W Online at gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. And I'm at Bryan Alvarez, X and Blue Sky. I'm conducting my business! Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Jared, put old Granny on. Let's see what she's up to. Oh, man, she's doing something. Oh, Lord.
She's trying to plug in the box, Brian.
Granny can't connect. And so I call her on the phone, and she alerts us that she apparently knocked the box off her desk. Whatever's happening right there, that doesn't look good. She knocked down the camera now? What's going on?
She's got a hold of the camera, I think.
She's okay. Well, we've got the ceiling at least. There's the box. Hey, we got the box, Jared. Does it look like it's plugged in?
No.
It's definitely not on.
No.
Okay. That's her back, I believe. She appears to be doing something.
Apparently yoga.
That's her hair. Are we sure that's not Ric Flair? Now she's got to find the phone, too.
Think anyone's going to still subscribe after the show?
I hope we get a bunch of video signups. This is interesting.
Is it now?
Oh, man, we can almost see the front of the tie line to see if it's on. But we can't. We can only see the side of it, as well as a flashlight and dice. I don't know why there are dice there.
Well, you never know when you're going to play dice in the dark.
She's still doing something.
That's good radio, boss.
Show that again, what's she doing?
You know what's a good show is the Big VDV show.
Is it?
Or reviewed Poet Armenia 2025.
She might be tying her shoe or something.
Ed and San Antonio show.
Granny is furiously doing something. It's possible that we should sabotage the box every week.
No!
So that she can, get up and down, like Roddy Piper once said. No, I know. I'm calling you. Phone! I'm calling you. Oh, my God. How are you?
I'm exhausted. Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. That sounded very sincere.
Stunning review. Well,
Anyway.
can we please make that into a commercial, Jared, for Vinny's show? Apple Podcast carries every podcast that we produce.
Oh, I want to tell Vinny I watched his show today.
Thank you, Granny. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
So check it out, f4wonline.com/Apple. Try your free trial today. What is happening here? Yes, Granny?
I don't care if it's show or what. My computer went out and I can't fix it.
Okay. Jared, can you fix Granny's computer?
But he tried to get a pin.
I am Steve.
Brian, what are you doing?
Now my child is sending me a voice message.
Steel chicken jockey.
All right. Back in the show. Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance is joining us. You there, Lance? No, he's not. Now you there?
I'm still here, yes. Whether you have me muted or not, I'm here.
One of those mornings. But I am going to frickin' barrel on through this show one way or the other. All right. Well, where to begin here today? It is August 1st. This is a live show. And today is Hulk Hogan Day. Not on this show. I'm talking in the state of Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis announced yesterday that Friday, August 1st, will be Hulk Hogan Day. Both the U.S. and Florida state flags flown at half-staff from sunrise to sunset at both the state capitol in Tallahassee and government buildings in Pinellas County. So today is Hulk Hogan Day. He, of course, began his wrestling in Florida. He was a lifelong resident of the state. Well, almost lifelong. He moved there when he was 2. Briefly attended the University of South Florida before dropping out. So today is Hulk Hogan Day. There was also an interview with Jimmy Hart, where I think we all knew this, but, they like to pretend it wasn't the case. Jimmy Hart basically admitted that Hogan was devastated to be booed on the final episode of Raw. And Jimmy Hart says he was not shocked. He said he attributed it to Hogan's support of Donald Trump, with Hogan having been prominently featured as a speaker of the 2024 Republican National Convention. Jimmy said it devastated him. We got in the back and he said, "What do you think happened?" I said, "Hulk, it's simple. Blue state, red state, Trump, Vance." He said, "What do you think about it?" And Hulk said, "I'm okay." Or no. I can't figure out who said who in these quotes. But anyway, Hogan didn't like it, all right? But, then Jimmy Hart says, this is Jimmy Hart's line, which, you've heard a lot of these lines in the past about, both sides, and I'm whatever. Jimmy Hart said, and I quote, "I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm just a jabroni." He said that's why he didn't go to the Republican National Convention with the Hulkster. But anyway, Hogan was devastated by it, although I don't think really anybody was all that surprised. I mean, it was the timing, it was the location, it was going to happen. And, they didn't put him back on TV again after that. So I think they realized, I don't know about this. And then, I had some people that were on the chat, they were saying, well, they were still plugging the Real American, it's Real American beer, right?
Yes.
And they were like, WWE, they were still plugging that. And, they I'm sure they signed a contract with Real American Beer, a promotional contract. And I don't think Hulk Hogan getting booed is a breach of contract. I'm sure they weren't thrilled by it, but I don't think you can break a contract with Real American Beer because Hulk Hogan got booed in a personal appearance. So, anyway, that's all of the latest Hulk Hogan news. It's been a week since he passed away, and I'm sure we'll still be talking about it for quite a while to come. God, do we have to talk more politics? Triple H was named to the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. I didn't even know this thing still existed.
Did you not see the videos?
Oh, I saw the videos all right. And Hunter tweeted, "Honored doesn't begin to describe what this opportunity means. Physical fitness has been a part of my life from a young age, has created the path to support myself and family beyond my wildest dreams." Apparently, Trump is going to reestablish the presidential fitness test. Is it the 1950s? It has been phased out since 2012 for a different program that prioritized individual health rather than athletic achievement. What does any of this even mean? You know what I'm saying? I can't go to my kids can't go to school unless they pass the president. I mean, what's the point?
It seemed like the clip I saw, because, Trump mentioned them dealing with football and how serious the situation it is. I think this is partially in response to that mass shooting in New York, where the shooter claimed to have gotten CTE playing football.
Yes.
And he had intended to target the NFL offices in New York for their covering up early on of the results of concussions and CTE. So I got the impression, with Trump's comments about it's a serious thing and we need to look at football, that this is sort of they're obviously not going to call it a concussion CTE squad, but they're disguising it all together under a fitness banner to at least appear to be dealing with or...
Well, sure, that's all fine
CTE.
and good. I mean, there should be a lot more research into brain injuries, not just from football, but from everything. But I'm just asking about this presidential fitness test. Is Triple H going to design a test for all the youngsters?
Well, he'll design a better test than Lawrence Taylor will, for crying out loud.
Anyway, that's the latest. All right, let's get into some wrestling news here. Tonight is the SmackDown show. This is the go-home SmackDown for SummerSlam. And, what they have been doing of late is, even if it's a two-night show, they still have certain matches they hold off and they put on Friday or they put on Monday as opposed to on the pay-per-view. And we do have a championship match on this show. Julia versus Zelina Vega for the U.S. title. We also have a AAA tag team title match with Los Garzas issuing an open challenge. We have John Cena and Cody going face-to-face before their street fight. Jimmy Uso versus Tala Tonga. And Damian Priest versus Aleister Black. I think when we come back from the break, we'll do a SummerSlam preview. We'll actually do predictions here on the show, Lance.
Okay. You should also start calling it a 2-day show, not a 2-night show. Doesn't it start at like noon?
Actually, I think it starts at... Doesn't it start at like 3 Pacific?
I think the
6
pre-show
Eastern?
Starts at noon.
Well, yeah, I don't count the pre-show. I'm sure it does.
It's an all-day show.
It's
not
a
a night
3-hour
show.
pre-show, as we've talked about. So, yeah, it is 2 nights. It'll be nighttime for most people. I do want to mention, we're going to talk about Collision later. I may need hours to talk about this. I'll try and make it quick. So, you know how Tony did that interview and he was talking about, engagement and Twitter and all this and that? Well, if you've been watching Dynamite and Collision this week, the shows, I think, are vastly improved. We had like 5 matches the afternoon of Dynamite, which is a huge improvement. When Dynamite was over, we had 5 things announced for the Collision show the next night, which is a huge improvement. Both of those shows featured video packages, recaps, the whole shebang. The thing with recaps, I know people hate talking about recaps, but here's the thing. The thing with the recaps is, number one, it actually makes it feel like you're watching an episodic television show. Like, normally, Collision is just like, it's on its own island, and whatever happens there is whatever happens. When you do some stuff on Dynamite, and then you open Collision, this is what happened on Dynamite. John Moxley and Hangman, and Nick Wayne, and Christian. It feels like, okay, Collision is part of this episodic program that I'm watching. Plus, it makes all of these things that they're recapping feel more important because, hey, let's show you what happened. It's important. So these have all been the big, I feel big positives. But, when we were talking about why does he still want to announce things like at the last minute on Twitter, this or that, and I said, well, You know, there are things that he's just going to do, and, you know, whether they're effective or not, he's just going to do it, okay? And I bring that up because, you know, the Dynamite number, we can talk about it after the break, but, you know, the 18 to 49 wasn't great. The viewership was fine, but the notable thing about the show is, once again, they had a 13-minute overrun, and it frickin' died, like it does every single time. It dragged the whole show down. So we got to talk about that a little after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Chat GPT, SmackDown review starring Filthy Tom and Bryan Alvarez.
Welcome back, you miserable wretches, to another disaster of an episode of Figure 4 Daily, the only show on the internet that's guaranteed to make your brain rot faster than watching one of these SmackDown episodes. I'm your host, Filthy Tom Waller, joined by the man who somehow manages to be more useless than a rubber knife in a prison fight, Bryan Alvarez. What's up, Bryan?
Let's not pretend you're the shining star of this operation. You're like a broken pencil. Pointless. And I don't even know I'm still here with you. Anyway, let's get to this train wreck of a SmackDown. Spoiler alert, if you were expecting a wrestling show, you've come to the wrong place. It was like watching someone fall asleep in real time.
You should know all about falling asleep, Bryan, since you've been half dead for years now. If enthusiasm was an Olympic sport, you would get a participation medal for showing up, but still lose.
I could tell the crowd was hyped for Drew, and Nakamura's music is always a banger, but it was just nothing. It's like watching a 5-minute commercial for a product you don't even want to buy.
And I bet the only thing that was more uninspiring than this match was your entire existence. Let's move on before I fall asleep right here on this microphone.
Tom, you think because you're a former fighter, that makes you a wrestling expert? You'd probably lose in a match with a traffic cone. Look, Jade's a star, but Liv Morgan, she's the human version of a please wait screen.
Liv Morgan is about as useful as a sandbag at a swimming pool party, who's like trying to make a turkey sandwich with no bread.
It's like the crowd went from yay to who's got the remote. Can we change the channel?
Liv Morgan's biggest move is making the audience wish for better things. She's like the human version of a wet sock. Nobody wants it.
I get it, Tom. You don't like fun. You don't like energy. You don't like anything that's not just sitting on your couch in your pajamas complaining.
More of the same.
Oh, we're back to more of the same, huh? Just like your wrestling career. More of the same, but somehow still a disaster.
Well, that's it, folks. SmackDown 2025 was more like SmackDown 2005. Same old stuff, same old disappointments. Join us next time when we tear apart something else for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, next time, Tom, maybe we'll actually have some real wrestling to talk about instead of whatever disaster this was. Until then, just remember, don't listen to Tom and don't watch SmackDown unless you hate yourself.
Whatever. It's your funeral.
What? I've never been so embarrassed doing this show as I was for the last 5 minutes. God. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. So, you know, this fella here goes, what exactly does social media engagement get AEW or Tony Khan? Well, his theory is if I tweet something a half hour before the show, it gets a ton of Twitter engagement, which will then lead to those people watching the show. Okay? Now listen, that's a fine theory and all. I hear that theory all over the place from all sorts of different people in and out of wrestling. But like, there's theory and then there's reality. If you have a theory and it pans out in reality, great. If you have a theory and it doesn't pan out in reality, not great, okay? So I have seen zero evidence that waiting until the last minute to get engagement helps the show at all. The best numbers Dynamite does is when they've got a special branded episode of Dynamite and we know the big matches a week or two in advance. Those are always the best numbers they do. Waiting until the last minute Never makes any difference whatsoever. So, for those of you angry, like usual, quit talking about video. I'm just trying to help, okay? I'm trying to look at this and help, okay? Now, I've been ranting about video packages for like 2 years, or not video packages, the overrun, for like 2 years now. And before, part of it was just, it was so irritating that I watched on YouTube TV and I never saw the overrun because YouTube TV didn't record it. And all these idiots, set it for more time. It doesn't work like that. We've been over this, okay? But the big thing is, it's not even me, brother. In theory, if you do an overrun, you're going to capture the audience that's watching the match. You will capture additional audience from the next show. It will go up. Yes, this happened in the 1990s, okay? It is not the 1990s anymore. There is not a rival show on the other channel that you're trying to keep your fans watching so they don't switch over when your show's over. It is 2025. There is no rival program on the other channel. I don't even understand. The only thing that would work in theory is that you will do your normal audience and then add a few thousand, 10,000, maybe more from whatever people are waiting for the show that comes on next, okay? That's a theory, all right? Let's talk about reality. This freaking never happens, okay? I swear to God, 90% of the time, they lose audience in that overrun. Like, almost every single time. Why are we doing this? This show did 612,000 viewers and a .15. This show would have done significantly better if you hadn't done an overrun. This overrun with Mark Briscoe and Ricochet lost 30,000 18 to 49 viewers. And if you're talking total viewership, it lost 60,000 viewers in the overrun. They dropped from 557 to 503. That's for Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet. Mark Briscoe may be headlining the next pay-per-view. That angle with MJF, who is for sure facing Hangman at some point here, your big angle on the show, did by far the lowest number on the entire show. In 18 to 49, actually, there was a couple segments that did worse in 18 to 49, but still, 503,000 viewers. It happens every single solitary week, okay? Why? I don't know. Maybe a lot of people record and their recording gets cut off, like on YouTube TV. Maybe they watch their 2 hours and they're like, I don't need to see the end of this match, which sounds weird if you're like an AEW fan, but like every week this happens, and every week he just keeps doing an overrun. I am trying to help. The overrun doesn't help, ever.
Well, two things.
Please, help me.
And again, I don't know for sure, but I would guess there's probably an issue with them hitting their time and getting their show done in the 2 hours.
Okay, that's a problem too, then.
Because the overrun is a safety net. If they can hit their time, then there's no real excuse for it. But if they can't, it's better to at least have it viewed than to have it go off the air and no one gets to see it. But when you say, how do you lose viewers? It's a case of clearly there are more people that watch the show that are switching to catch the beginning of some other show they want to watch than there are tuning in to see what starts after Dynamite or Collision, whichever show you're talking about. Because if you like AEW, you're watching it, but there is a show you prefer that follows it immediately, you have to leave at the top of the hour if you want to catch your show.
Whatever it is, it doesn't work. So can we stop doing it? It's not even like losing the viewership, but like as a promoter, I want people to see my big angle at the end of the show. I realize you put the main event title match in the middle of the show, but what was the match? It was Hangman versus Moxley for the title. Hangman won. Hangman needs a challenger. Well, his challenger is either going to be Jay Briscoe or MJF or
Mark
both.
Briscoe.
Mark Briscoe. You shot that big angle at the end of the show, and you had the least number of viewers watching it because it was in an overrun that everyone didn't watch. It happens every week.
Well, hopefully it'll at least be in a video package next week.
Actually, I think they did do a video package of it, which I was very thankful for.
Good. And it's interesting you mentioned video package. I think part of the problem is WWE soured people on video packages somewhat. With the 3-hour Raw, they would do whatever the opening segment was that was important. And they'd do a recap package of it the top of the second hour. And then they'd recap it again the top of the third hour. And you'd be like, I've seen this 3 times on this bloody show. I don't want recaps. And again, you or I would just forward through it. But when you're recapping something from a week or 2 weeks ago, then I think it's important because people with lives and a lot of stuff going on need reminders.
All right, NXT also didn't do all that well. Second lowest viewerships. And actually, I should say one good thing about the quarter hours is that Hangman Moxley match had gigantic growth. Went from 577 to 647 by the end. So lots of growth for that. The end of the match was the highest rated thing on the show in viewership and in 18 to 49. So that one there was a big success. So, overall the show did roughly the same pattern as always, except, the longer the overrun, the more it drops every single time. So... everything's looking a lot better now. The shows are good. The last 2 shows have been great. So let's continue. What do we try and do in life, Lance? Let's get philosophical. It's not about what you can add. It's about what you can take away. Right? Maybe I'm the only one. But if we're trying to make something better... We shouldn't necessarily be looking at the show and thinking, well, what can we add? Can we do a longer overrun? Can we do more of this or more of that? What can you take away that has been a negative that will make things better, okay? This almost never fails unless you're Vince Russo. When he tried to take away that third hour of WCW to bump the whole rating, and it somehow it didn't work, which seems impossible, but it didn't. 99% of the time, if you've got something... and you want to make it better, you can take away some of the things that are making it worse. And that's it. And they've done a lot of that. I think the show's last 2 nights were great, but this overrun is an anchor. That's the next thing that needs to be eliminated, is that anchor.
I thought you were going to...
I'm not quitting on this.
I thought you were going to George Costanza it with a get out on a high note. At the end of 2 hours, get out on a high.
Well, you should do that anyway. It's common sense. Like when Tony D got offed. 675,000 for NXT and a .16.
1.6.
Would you stop?
Read numbers correctly,
the .16 is good. Nah, .16 sounds better than .16. Then people will go, what? 1.6? That's horrible.
But that's
.16.
correct.
It's not bad. You can say .16. No one except you cares is the problem. You're like an overrun to Tony Khan. All right, let's do some SummerSlam predictions. Raquel, this is night 1. Raquel and Roxanne versus Charlotte and Alexa. Who's winning, Lance?
I think Charlotte and Alexa.
Really?
Yes, I think we're going to the Paul Heyman tag team that kind of gets along but doesn't, akin to Chris Candido and I in ECW.
All right, I'm going the other way. I predict Raquel and Roxanne because I don't think they're losing those titles until Liv can come back. I think they need to keep that storyline up, that things are going great without Liv, so Liv gets more and more angry for her return. Gunther and Punk.
I'm going Punk.
I think it's just too obvious, but I also think Punk wins and Seth cashes in on him. I think that's what's happening. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll against Drew and Logan.
I think Logan is pinning Jelly Roll. He's been taking a lot of L's to Mr. Roll.
I think that's correct. I think Drew and Logan win, and maybe Drew will be the first big challenger for Cody, because I presume Cody is beating Cena. Cody or Cena?
Yeah, I'm going with Cody.
Yeah.
To start the babyface Cena turn.
It's time. It ran its course. Roman and Jay versus Braun and Bronson.
It's a tough one. It's Roman's first back, but I'm gonna go the Braun's up on poor Jay.
Really, I actually think Bronson's taken the L here. They absolutely destroyed Roman and Jay on Raw.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely destroyed them. And I don't think they're beating Braun. So I think Bronson's there to lose. More SummerSlam predictions after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sit and
I got that one
me?
down.
kick my
Sounds like
feet.
my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay.
What's the best part about having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good
There you
answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
That
How
was
do you
a
have that so quickly?
ridiculously fast answer.
You've
That's
thought
it.
about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late. And then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're gonna have a heart attack.
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody, goody.
Goody, goody, she says. The news of you having a...
What
Cardiac
medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Ray Ripley. Just recently.
That's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one. Because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper Eminem grow up?
Detroit,
Eminem?
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment, Granny reads rapper names. That's
I'm an M.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan. Adams.
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Brian and go away.
Thanks, Granny. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm, Tiffany Stratton, and Jade Cargill for the women's title.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Jade.
Yeah.
I think they're going to pull this trigger and see if the Jade Cargill experiment can pay off or not.
Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross.
Are all the Karrion Kross hasn't re-signed yet rumors just to fool us on this angle?
I was going to say, don't buy those for a second.
I'll go.
I haven't even brought it up because don't buy that.
Yeah, I'll go with Karrion Kross.
I presume Karrion is winning and getting a push, but I don't know that. All right, Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles on night 2 for the Intercontinental title.
I'm going with my boy Dom.
I think Dom retains. Although, golly, this goofy thing they did where AJ was like wanting a title shot, but Dominic was hurt, so AJ was following around and dressed as... Like, it was so goofy, but my God, when they did that tag match on Monday and AJ finally got the tag to get in it with the Dom...
It was huge.
Dude, this place went wild. I was like, oh my God. As goofy as that was, hey, you know what? There's theory, and then there's reality. On paper... AJ running around dressed as a janitor and going like this to Dom, it's stupid. But you know what? Crowd bought it hook, line, and sinker. It worked. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, we talked about. Solo and Jacob Fatu in a cage match.
I'm going Jacob Fatu.
Unless there's another, family member that's going to debut.
Another one?
It's got to be Fatu retaining or regaining. Becky Lynch and Lyra.
I'll stick with Becky.
Stick with Becky, huh? I'm going Lyra. I think this whole thing was done for Becky to get Lyra over, and this was how they did it. Title change leading to a big win at SummerSlam, but we'll see. Naomi, Io, and Rhea in a three-way.
I think Naomi's going to keep it.
I do think it's too early to take the title off of her.
Yeah, she seems to be really in her groove right now.
And then I don't even have a prediction for this one because the way the booking goes, this is the problem with the SmackDown tag division. The way they book the division, it doesn't matter who the champions are. So 6-pack TLC match, Wyatt's, Machine Gun, Street Profits, DIY, Fraxim, Andrade, and Phoenix.
Let's say the Wyatts keep it just for why not.
That's the point. It doesn't matter. I do think this is going to be a fun 2 nights. The plan for this weekend for subscribers is Vinny and I are going to watch day 1 and do a show immediately after. Later that night, I'll do a show with Dave. And then wash, rinse, repeat. The next day, we'll watch the second day, do a show immediately afterwards, and then a show with Dave.
And in the remaining 2 hours of the day, you'll get your steps in.
That's right. I will. 10,000's nothing now. After that one day that I did 35... I still have not recovered. That was a bad idea.
66, that was my record.
Yeah, like the last week, I'm doing a 28-day challenge, and so the last week, I was like, you know what? It's the last week. I'm gonna like drastically up my steps, and I'm gonna cut my calories. Not like crazily, but I was down probably 500 from maintenance. And then I just walked and walked and walked and walked. And like the first day I decided to do it, I walked 33,898 steps, 15 miles. And then the second day, I was hurting. I was like, I'm still going to see if I can double it. So I did 28,681. That's 10 miles. And then, man, yesterday it was like I got to 14,989. So basically 15,000, 7 miles. I was like, dude, I'm done. and then like, I clearly, the calorie restriction and the extra training, even for those 3 days, I was like, I screwed myself up. Like, I was hungry. I was tired. I didn't want to do anything. And then, like, I was so tired last night, and I went to bed, like, at a decent hour. And I just laid there with my eyes wide open. And I never, like, I can always go to sleep. I laid there for 2 hours. I was just like, what am I doing, dude? I couldn't go to sleep. And then you start to get more angry because you can't sleep. I don't think I got to sleep till like 2:30 in the morning or whatever. And so I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm like, I'll get exactly 10,000 steps today and no more. I'm going to go eat. Yeah, that was rough, dude. But I got down pretty low. It was worth it for the 28 days, but I shouldn't have done what I did the last 3 days. That was dumb. But you know what? There's theory and there's reality. It was a good idea in theory. It was a really, really stupid idea.
Looked great on paper.
In real life, yes. Okay. WWE Speed. I should have waited for Tom for this story. It is apparently done.
So who were the final champions of Speed?
El Grande Americano, who originally was Chad Gable, and then Ludwig Kaiser took over, and Sol Ruka. So looks like they'll just be forever champions. So there you go. All right, a couple of notes from Collision. I didn't think this was as good as Dynamite, but it was really good. They had the Bandito Gates of Agony tag tournament match, which was like a really good match.
Brodito.
And, but it wasn't like, one of the, there have been some good tournament matches. And it was funny because, like, the finish of the match, this is another one. On paper, it's silly, okay? But in reality, this place went wild. So I think it's Bishop is down, and Brody grabs his own partner and gives him a monkey flip. And Bandito does the monkey flip where you do a flip and land on your stomach, and he lands on Bishop. And like on paper, it's like you gave your partner a monkey flip onto the other guy. But the place went wild because they didn't see it coming. They didn't know what it was. And he did it, and they popped like crazy, and then he pinned the guy, and they went wild. I'm like, wow, how about that? So they are going to be facing the Young Bucks in the next round, which should be quite awesome. I'm just going to kind of skip a lot of stuff because we don't have a lot of time. We had Moxley and Darby did a segment where Moxley was doing a promo, and he goes looking for Darby because Darby is apparently running off. Well, Darby locks the Death Riders in a room, and I don't know if it was supposed to be an ether-soaked rag, but he kind of half-kidnapped Moxley. And then the next we see of them, they're outside by where the trains are, and Darby tries to throw him over onto the train tracks to his death, which seems kind of severe, but...
There's a lot of attempted murder in AEW.
Well, Darby, he got thrown downstairs by Moxley and disappeared for like 8 months.
It might be hypocritical of me. There's been actual murders in TNA, so...
And NXT.
Yeah.
We just
it's
saw
a dangerous business, brother.
It really is. We had Chris Statlander squashing Lana Cross, which was good. They did not go 50-50, thank God. We had Willow and Tekla. And, they're kind of starting to give Willow a push, but Tekla beat her. And I guess she's part of a new group right now, but, they claimed it was interference, but really it was just a short distraction. And then they kind of kept going for a second, and, Willow got speared and then hit with Tekla's finish and pinned. And then she got beaten down until...
Tekla?
Yeah, Queen Aminata, Ty, and Julia ran down. Did I screw that up? I'm conducting my business, Lance.
No, I was questioning, not disputing what you said.
Okay, thank you. We'll get to this Bowens thing in a second. Actually, I may as well do it now because I need time. I'll go quick through the rest. We had FTR and Bang Bang Gang, which FTR won. This match was awesome. So they'll be facing the winner of Bucks and Brodito in the finals of the tournament. And then we had the main event, Dustin Rhodes, Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title. And this match was also awesome, but, they do these hardcore matches, and you'll have, thumbtacks and glass, and they'll kind of, people sort of, there are people that don't like that style of match. Well, it's like, we got to do something even crazier, they thought. And so they did a gimmick where Dustin took a screwdriver, or Kyle took a screwdriver, and he stabbed it deep into Dustin's thigh. I presume this was like they put a knee pad on and then kind of went sideways so it didn't actually go into his leg.
One would hope they did something.
But they really wanted you to believe that he jabbed a screwdriver deep into the guy's thigh. And, the people are screaming, and it's kind of like, I think maybe that went a little too far, That's a big, deep screwdriver puncture wound into a guy's leg. But as expected, Kyle won, and he is the new champion. And, it was an awesome match. I'm just not sure I would have done that screwdriver spot. But
Didn't
Kyle
New Jack legit get arrested for stabbing a dude in a match?
I think it was more cutting him with, an X-Acto knife, which I guess is kind of like cutting. And I don't think he was arrested, but it was a big to-do. So we got to talk about the Max Caster Open Challenge. And can anyone on earth explain this to me? So first there's a segment with Bowens and Billy Gunn, and Bowens yells at him, and Billy Gunn, he leaves. Call me when you're not an idiot, basically. So Max Caster's in the ring, and he's getting the people to chant his name, but then he tells them, you all suck, you're stupid, you can't do it right, you're all crybabies. So I'm like, we got Bowens and Caster, who I think are supposed to be like feuding, maybe, but we're supposed to hate them both? Okay, whatever. So then Max goes, it's time for the Platinum Max Open Challenge. He says, who can survive 5 minutes with the best wrestler? Who can survive 5 minutes with me?
Don't most people beat him in less than 5?
Everyone does. But he says, who can survive 5 minutes with me? So they put a clock on the screen, and out comes Roosh. So Roosh murders.
I was going to say beats the holy hell out of him.
This was almost worse than the screwdriver, especially at the very end when he hits him with the running drop kick in the corner. I mean, I cannot explain how Max did not leave with like a broken neck or a concussion. I mean, it was so brutal. But he murders this guy. And like the clock is ticking down. And he's killing him. And he's killing him. And there's 2 minutes left. And the announcers start to say, if the clock runs out, Roosh will have survived the best wrestler alive. I was like, what? So he keeps beating him and beating him and beating him, and he murders him to death, and the bell rings, and Tony Schiavone says, Roosh survived the 10 minutes.
Max may not have, but...
But they called for the bell, and it's over. So who won?
Roosh did. Because he didn't get
But the
beat in
referee...
5 minutes.
No, because then he kills a guy, and he goes for a cover, and the ref's like, no, I can't count. Time limit expired. And I'm like, what? Who am I supposed to like or care about in this match? So then after all that, like, this guy's dead... LFG comes in, they stomp the guy down, Jet Speed makes a save or whatever. And I'm like, who am I supposed to care about? Who am I supposed to like? And then at the very end, Max is dead. And after a whole match of yelling at the fans and calling them stupid and whatever, he raises his hand like he's the victor and like a couple people clap. I'm like, what is happening? Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. I think this show was like the best and worst of AEW.
The earliest story of this show was somebody almost died in every match. I thought MJF's head was going to fall off his body.
It looked like he put his own head into the mat as hard as he could.
Momo kicks Mercedes. Mercedes might have a bruised larynx.
I was certain Swerve had broken his neck.
Man, this dude landed right on his head.
Mariah May versus Toni Storm.
Good Lord.
Mariah gets her hands on a champagne bottle and smashes it right into Tony's crotch.
Some guy in the front row holds up a sign that goes, "For the sickos!"
It sure was.
It's like, well, goddamn, this was for the sickos, all
As
right.
sick as you can get.
Yes.
I did not have glass to the vajayjay on my bingo card. For
I don't
this
know
year.
why not.
I certainly hope not.
You should have.
What kind of bingo are we playing over there? And the two big screens just read, "The End." This, in hindsight, absolutely should have ended the show.
Maybe it should have. However, I can't guarantee that this match was going to be this good with this much heat 5 hours into the live show.
Well, there's that.
Following all those matches we saw. Like,
true.
every time people say this should main event, it's like, are you sure you want that? Then we had Takeshita and Kenny. Another incredible match.
What is up with they have an announcer that wears a mask?
Oh, no. God, please, not this.
What is-
Anyway, the match.
What is that about?
I actually was fixing to give Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher the highest star rating on the show, but I would say that by the last 3-4 minutes, I was like, well, you did a little too much here. People are going to be mad, but it's true. We didn't need the Spanish fly off the top of the cage. This match would have been as good or better without it.
The penis first Styles Clash into the tax.
That should be a finish.
That should be a career ender. It is tomb silent.
Oh, yeah, this crowd's dead.
They've seen every single goddamn thing two human beings can do to each other, and now men are grappling.
And Jason here goes, it's go away heat, Brian. He sucks. Listen, do you guys know what go away heat is?
Listen.
There were 11,000 people in this building. It's just like when people hated Jericho. There still is no evidence that he actually ran anybody off. They just didn't want him. Like, there's a difference. You want a different champion, but who is quitting AEW because Jon Moxley retained tonight?
Put the belt on Swerve immediately, as soon as possible. It could be me. It could be you. It could be Mark. Anyone.
I don't want it.
Just, it's run its course.
All right. Golly, this Moxley has heat with these people. What did you think, Mark?
Oh, I'm coming for you now.
I punched him in the diverticulitis. Piss like a sprinkler.
Go
Back
out, and
forth,
we are going to do
back
what was
and
billed.
forth.
No, not like this.
There was
It's not for me. Why do you like it
No,
so
Jason.
much? Are you guys on Tony's payroll?
First says the announcer said Max won a moral victory. This person says, no, Max won. He wasn't pinned in 5 minutes. No, literally it says, who can survive the best wrestler alive? Who can? This person says, I thought Max was the winner because his opponent didn't beat him in 5 minutes, but now I realize it doesn't make sense with what they said. Correct.
And Roosh most definitely survived.
Yeah, Roosh survived 5 minutes with the best wrestler alive. Why wouldn't he have won?
He did.
No, they didn't announce that.
Doesn't matter if they didn't announce it. He won.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Do you hear me? Preposterous. Congratulations, Steven from Yuma just got his plaque. The Wool Observer Live Prediction Contest winner 2024. First time, two-time winner in history.
I have a bet going with Vinny where I'll owe him a plaque.
Really? What's that?
Well, when he jokingly predicted that Undertaker would beat Trick for the TNA title, and then after Trick retained at Slammiversary, I mentioned, your prediction is still viable. I said, and if it comes true, I will buy you a plaque.
Wow. Golly. Well,
I
you
think
don't have
I'm
to worry
fairly
about that.
safe.
I think so. All right, we got to wrap it up, everybody. It's time for lunch. That's all I can think about. So we're going to go do that right now, everybody, and I'll be back tomorrow for subscribers after SummerSlam and late in the evening with Dave, as well as Sunday after SummerSlam and late in the evening with Dave. A lot of shows up for subscribers. I'll have a lot of things up for my ex-subscribers as well. There's a lot of stuff up there right now, and check it all out. So that's it, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.